passionate debate is taking place worldwide over claims that genetically edited human children were recently born in China. I'm Carl Azus, this is CNN 10. Here's how the debate got started. A Chinese scientist named He Jiankui, he's an associate professor at a Chinese university, announced earlier this week that a pair of twin girls was born this month after their embryos were altered to make them resistant to human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV. Their parents, according to Professor He, volunteered for the experiment. The father is believed to carry HIV. Professor He also appeared to suggest that a third genetically modified baby is possible, that the pregnancy is in the early stages. How could this be done? Professor He claims to have used CRISPR, a genetic editing tool, to alter the twins' DNA. Researchers say CRISPR makes it possible to change a particular part of someone's genome or delete a gene altogether. But the idea of a genetically edited child is highly controversial. For one thing, some scientists doubt this even happened. The research hasn't been independently confirmed. For another, American biologist and Nobel Prize recipient David Baltimore says genetic editing is irresponsible until it's proven to be safe and effective, and it hasn't yet. Baltimore also says genetically modifying someone to be resistant to HIV isn't necessary, since there are other treatments available for the disease that attacks the immune system. A group of Chinese scientists spoke out against the research, suggesting that experimenting on a human is unethical and crazy. And there are concerns about the consequences of gene editing. A scientist who helped invent CRISPR says when you change one thing, something else gets changed too, and it's not known yet what kinds of effects this could have on the Chinese twins. For his part, the associate professor says he's proud of his alleged achievement because the parents had, quote, lost hope for life. But now the father plans to work hard and take care of his wife and two daughters. 10-second trivia. Which of these U.S. government agencies was established the most recently? The Food and Drug Administration, the Federal Communications Commission, the United States Geological Survey, or the Environmental Protection Agency? Established in 1970, the most recently created agency on this list is the EPA. The EPA's mission is to work for a cleaner, healthier environment, and it says that for Americans who get their drinking water from community water systems, more than 92% have water that meets all health-based standards all the time. But when it comes to drinking water infrastructure, the systems that clean and transport our water, the American Society of Civil Engineers gives the U.S. a grade D. In some parts of rural America, it's clear why.
There you see. Right now we are under a boil advisory, but boiling your water makes the lead worse. So if you boil the water to get the bacteria out, then you're making the lead content worse. So you really don't know what to do. Probably the last year and a half is when we noticed the health issues. We would seem to always, one of us, have either the upset stomach or throwing up, and the bacteria found in my stomach, the H. pylori, which makes me nauseated and painful in my stomach and vomiting. Then with Blake, I guess a year ago, with a cough he couldn't get rid of, and every month going to the doctor with bronchitis or a respiratory infection. My house, the bacteria in the water, less than 1 is safe, and mine was 15 times higher.
Was this around the time you got sick?
Yes. I was sick in December before this.
That was when you were in the hospital
Yeah,
for a
that's
month?
when I had bacterial meningitis. And then in September of 2017 is when I was diagnosed with the H. pylori. I cannot say that the water made us sick, but I can say I have proof that it causes what we have. So we don't know, and we never know, and you're afraid to drink it. You're afraid to open your mouth in the shower.
How many times have you had the main outside your house break?
Within the last 5 years, I'm estimating it's in the double digits that the main line is broke there, and that's just in my front yard.
What's the likelihood that there's a link between Jody and her family's health problems and the water?
It is the rare exception when you actually prove cause and effect between a problem in the water and a known health issue. In my career, I've only probably done that definitively, scientifically, 4 times.
I buy about 10 cases of water a week. I go to Jonesville, which is about 25 miles from here. This is actually donated water. We got each family 2 cases of water to try to help out with having to buy it.
Do you know how much the bad water has cost you?
Well, we redid this bathroom and all the plumbing, and that was $10,000. We've been through 3 hot water heaters, 4 faucets. Plus, we have all new lines on our side of the meter.
It's an expensive battle against her own tap water. Water with bacteria, lead, and other contaminants that exceeded EPA limits. That's what a team of scientific and academic researchers, including Mark Edwards, found when they tested Enterprise's water in 2017.
The fact that I have to tell them, your system's breaking federal law, there are dangerous bacteria in your water, and they cause almost every ailment known to humankind. But I can't definitively say that when you were sick last week, that was the cause.
Edwards has spent nearly 2 decades testing water and challenging federal, state, and local governments on water quality. His most high-profile work was in Flint, Michigan.
When mine comes out, it comes out black, like coffee.
Enterprise is really like true rural America where there is no town center. And these are folks who tend to be much more independent, middle class, rural, Southern America. Your water is really bad to bring me here, I'll tell you. And so how this has happened so long, I'm not really sure, but let's get it fixed.
They did have illegal water, very clearly. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So whose responsibility is it to fix it?
Well, I think that's the question we're all dealing with.
It's a problem on all levels. Aging infrastructure across the country colliding with the immense cost of fixing it, which no level of government can shoulder. To put this into perspective, the EPA's own estimate puts the bill for water infrastructure improvements at over $743 billion.
Systems are going to continue to age and they're going to degrade, and we are more constrained than we would like to be. Therefore, we're not able to invest in all of these improvements as we would like to.
They just acknowledged that those problems existed and they weren't meeting the federal lead standard. They needed to implement corrosion control, that their disinfection byproducts and bacteria were too high. They flat out told them, there's not money to help you. I respect that personally. At least it's honest.
The governor's office told CNN an estimated $10 billion is needed to address water issues in their state alone. But unfortunately, the state doesn't have that kind of money. And so he's organizing a committee to try to help towns like Enterprise.
But this is the source of the contamination right here.
What Edwards sees here, he sees in small towns all across America. While the EPA says that the U.S. has, quote, world-class drinking water standards, and the majority of people do have safe water coming from their tap, the EPA's own data shows nearly 1/3 of public water systems are in violation of the Safe Drinking Water Act. That's more than 87 million Americans.
A ping-pong return gets a perfect 10 out of 10 today for 15-year-old Chris Chen, who's on the right of your screen. It looked like the point was lost when his opponent went for the smash. But after falling, Chen bravely sticks up his paddle and defends his side of the table. He did eventually lose the point, but he won the match and a place in viral table tennis history. You can't rally serve up a negative spin on a clip that nets such a response and paddles such a racket. The players seem the types to shake hands after dropping shots down the line at each other. It'd be a fair point to say there was no lob lost. I'm Carl Azus, putting puns on the table for CNN Tennis.